destiny. Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Bob Blackman.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I will endeavour not to be so passionate as the Honourable Member for Bradford East. I declare my interest as the co-chairman of the All-Party Parliamentary Group for India, and I believe the last serving member of this House to actually visit Srinagar and interact with the people of Jammu and Kashmir directly. I begin by the simple premise that in 1947, the late Maharaja ceded the entirety of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir to India. So the illegal occupation by Pakistan of part of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir should cease, the military operation should go home, the line of control should be removed, all of the terrorist bases that exist on the Pakistani line of control should be dismantled and ceased. I'll give way to the Honourable Gentleman.
I thank the Honourable Gentleman for giving way. Can he please tell me who was it that went to the United Nations to ask for a resolution on the plebiscite for Kashmir?
I thank the Honourable Gentleman for that intervention. I agree that all the United Nations resolutions that date back from 1947 should be implemented. The first being the illegal occupation by Pakistan of Jammu and Kashmir should cease. And when that is operational, then we can talk about the other United Nations resolutions. Now, before the abrogation of Article 370, the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir existed under different laws to the rest of India. And I think it's important that when we look, particularly from those opposed to the position of the abrogation of Article 370, about the civil liberties that have been restored to the citizens as a result of the abrogation. Now, India has changed its constitution over the years as a developing country and a progressive view. But the laws in Jammu and Kashmir were, of course, frozen because of Article 370, which was always envisaged as a temporary measure. Now, what happened? And I think we should review this, because all those people that complain about civil rights should remember what has happened. Under the law, prior to the abrogation of Article 370, Kashmiri women were not entitled to accede to ownership of property. If they married someone from out of the state, they lost their property rights. How is that acceptable? Also, Indian women are protected against domestic violence under a comprehensive act of the Indian Parliament. Until the abrogation of Article 370, no such protection was provided to women in Kashmir. Under Indian law, Muslim women are protected against the triple talaq, i.e. a man saying, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you 3 times, and that's the end. No protection for women. And of course, now that Article 370 has been abrogated, they now have that protection. Under Indian law, it's illegal for children under the age of 14 to be married. Prior to abrogation of Article 370, women under the age of 14 could be married. And of course, under Article 35A, the Hindu Kashmiri Pandit population were expelled at the point of a gun by Islamist forces. Now they have the potential to return. And equally, local government has been restored to Jammu and Kashmir under the position of revoking Article 370. Now, the fact is the Kashmir Valley is a beautiful area to see. It is an opportunity for tourism, for culture, for trade, for hydroelectric power, and many other aspects. But the fact is, it's been tainted by multiple mass exodus, terrorist attacks, killings, child marriages, and forced conversions by radical Islamist terrorists. We should remember that whilst the Kashmir Valley may be predominantly Muslim, Jammu is predominantly Hindu and Ladakh predominantly Buddhist. And the fact is that the historically persecuted religious minorities of Hindus, Sikhs, Christian women and children have unfortunately suffered in the valley. Now, the heavy presence in civilian settlements is definitely a threat to a democratic ethos. But just imagine, we've seen what's happened in Afghanistan. If the troops were withdrawn, if we had a position whereby the protections were not there, the plight of Jammu and Kashmir would be the same as Afghanistan, with Islamist forces coming in and eliminating democracy in the area. It is only the Indian Army and the sound footing of the Indian military democracy that has stopped the region of Jammu and Kashmir, short of resembling the Taliban-occupied Afghanistan. It only makes sense for them to do so because the region is legally and rightfully an integral part of the Republic of India. And the world must come to this. Now, for the colleagues otherwise, I think you must recognise reality.
Andrew Gwynn.